Harmony isn't just for music, it is for the mind too. Today we're tuning into the symphony of our thoughts to discover the secret of balance. In our last video, we talked about distorted thinking patterns and how it is like wearing a pair of smudged glasses that does not allow you to see reality accurately. Some of these patterns we talked about are the all or nothing thinking, overgeneralization, jumping to conclusions, mental filters, and disqualifying the positive. We also mentioned that not because the thoughts are in our mind that makes them true, and that we do not have to believe every single thought we have. Today we're focusing on achieving balance in our thoughts, and we're going to navigate between positivity and realism. Our subconscious mind is like a thought factory, producing between 40 and 60,000 thoughts every day. And not all these thoughts are positive, and that is perfectly okay, because our positive thoughts carry more weight than negative ones, and it creates a balance. To flip negative thoughts, we start with mindfulness, by paying attention to those thoughts that are negative and do not serve us. We want to be able to flip them over time, becoming it a habit and not just a one-time thing, because the more we do it, the less impact those negative thoughts will have in our life. If you remember, the magic formula we've talked about many times over the past videos is that thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, and actions lead to results. So if some of these negative thoughts filter away and we end up feeling bad about them and acting accordingly, we will get results that we don't want. But when we are mindful, when we pay attention, and when we focus on the thoughts that are in our minds and we can flip them on time, then we can lessen the impact that those thoughts have in our reality. Flipping thoughts is a really positive tool that I urge you to use as much as you can. However, it is important to mention here that flipping thoughts will not get rid of the negative thoughts completely. You can find yourself continuously flipping the same thought over and over. So today I'm going to teach you a new tool to challenge thoughts. And by challenging them and realizing their truthfulness, you can then get rid of some of these thoughts that are harming you and that are causing you results that you don't want in your life. So we're going to learn to use a tool that's called The Work, and it is by Byron Katie. This tool consists of asking yourself 4 questions. Is this true? Are you absolutely sure that this is true? How does this thought make you feel? And who would you be without this thought? So let's do an example together. The thought that I want us to work with today is a thought that I think many people will have. I certainly had it for a really long time in my life. And it is this: life is hard. How about you? Have you ever thought this thought? Have you ever believed this thought? Okay, so we're going to do the work on this thought. Life is hard. Is this true? Many people that believe this thought will obviously right away say, yes, it is true. I certainly believed it was true. And then that's why we have the second question. Are you absolutely sure that this is true? Now, let me explain how this second question works. If there is at least one single piece of evidence, one time in your life, one single event, or one single moment where you found that life was easy, then the answer to this question has to be no. You want to always have this answer be no, because what we're doing with this tool is challenging thoughts. So if any of these thoughts are true, then we cannot challenge them. So the key here is to be able to find at least one time where you found that this thought wasn't true, so you can answer to this question, the second question: are you absolutely positive that this thought is true? And you can say no. So in the case of life is hard, let me give you an example. Imagine a baby. Do you think you as a baby thought that life was hard? You cried and you were fed. You cried and you were put to sleep. You cried and you were given food. You always had everything you wanted. You were changed diapers, you were kept clean, you were hugged, you were loved. So most people would say that for a baby, life is pretty easy, right? So if for babies life is easy, then that means life is definitely not hard. It is not difficult, and we cannot say that that is a true statement. Now, some would say, or some would want to argue with me, that life is easy when you're a baby, and then they would reframe the thought by saying life is hard when you're an adult. So then let's challenge that thought. Life is hard when you're an adult. Have you ever been in any event, in any moment, in any incident in your life where you found that life was easy? Were you in a day where everything worked out for you? Were you at school and you felt amazing and had friends and had straight A's? Were you one day at work and you got a promotion? Were you one day with your family celebrating life, having fun, feeling happy? Did you sometimes have an amazing conversation with your partner or with your kids or with your parents? So any single day you can remember that life was easy, even for a couple of hours, then that will make the statement life is hard even as an adult not true. Okay? So then let's move on to the third question. The third question is, how does that thought make you feel? Think about that. If you think the thought life is hard, how do you feel? How does that make you feel? In my case, it makes me feel sad. It makes me feel powerless, unmotivated. It makes me doubt myself. It makes me lose faith in the universe supporting me. So it definitely makes me feel a lot of negative things. And then the fourth question is, who would you be without that thought? So take a moment for yourself and think, if you didn't think life is hard, who would you be? In my case, I would be someone more happy. I would enjoy life more. I would take more risks. I would definitely feel in control of my life. I would feel that I have power to do whatever I want. I would feel supported by the universe. It is definitely an image of someone who enjoys life more in general, just thinking life is easy. Okay, and then after we ask the 4 questions and we answer them, you turn the thought around. So in this case, we can turn the thought around from life is hard to life is not hard, or to life is easy, which is basically the same thing. And then you want to ask yourself this question. The original thought, does it bring stress into your life, or does it bring peace into your life? Thinking life is hard definitely brings stress into my life. Thinking life is easy, the turned around statement, definitely brings peace into my life. So there is a huge difference in challenging one thought. Can you notice that? Can you feel it inside? When you do this for yourself, can you see how much of a difference it means to just challenge one single thought, one belief that can create a lot of impact in your life? It is really powerful. And just as we did this one, that is very easy and simple to do, I urge you, I invite you, and I encourage you to challenge every single negative thought that you have, because most of our negative thoughts are untrue. Otherwise, they would not feel negative. They would not feel bad in our core, in our system. So take a moment, write down some of the most recurring negative thoughts that you have, and do this work. Challenge them, asking these 4 questions. Is this true? Are you absolutely sure that this is true? How does that thought make you feel? And who would you be without that thought? Finally, flip the thought around. Identify which of these thoughts, either the original one or the flipped one, gives you more peace or stress. And keep the one that gives you peace. While it is very unrealistic to keep all positive thoughts at all times, flipping thoughts and challenging thoughts will create a lot of balance. By flipping and challenging thoughts, we are training our mind to find this balance, to find always a different perspective on the thoughts that we are thinking, and to come to a point where we can make peace with those thoughts so that they can in turn create the feelings that we want, and then motivate to the actions that we want, and finally get the results that we want. Remember that this is not something that will happen overnight. This is a process. This is like going to the gym and wanting to get fit. This is like going on a diet and wanting to lose weight. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of attention and focus. Another great practice I want to recommend you doing is journaling. Every night, take a few moments before you go to bed and just think about your day. Think about the thoughts you had. Were you able to flip some of those thoughts? Did you even identify some of the negative thoughts? And if so, did you flip them? Did you challenge them? Was it easy? Was it hard? Did you use this tool that I gave you? Every single win that you write, or even just the awareness of having that thought and how it impacted your life, will make this process easier until it becomes a habit. So to sum up today, we talked about how to have a balanced thought pattern. We mentioned that it is not possible to have a 24/7 positive thinking pattern, but that positive thoughts are way more impactful and have more weight than negative ones, so they can be counterbalanced. And then we talked about flipping thoughts and challenging thoughts, so we can actually just take some of the strength that negative thoughts have. So now that we learned how to have a balanced thought pattern, what's next? In my next video, we'll talk about the untapped potential of our thoughts and how to use our thoughts to get to new heights, to new levels. So watch and stay tuned.